Hey YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Auntie A's Kitchen, simple and delicious food cooked in South Korea. You'll be very right in guessing today I'm not in the kitchen. I'm not going to be showing you any food or cooking any food today, but I'm going to be calling this segment Adventures in South Korea. I've been living here 10 years, so every so often I'm going to share one of my stories with you, and today's story would be called The Chicken and the Egg. Now someone's moving behind me, you'll see the elevator up and down. Maybe I'll stop in between as that goes up and down so that the noise doesn't distract the camera. It's quite cold out here, but not too bad. The snow's disappearing, so let's get on with the story. When I first came to South Korea, I didn't speak any Korean. I could count to 10, maybe 20 actually, in both sets of numbers, and I could say hello and thank you and all the basics. So the way I communicated was smiling, and I would act something out, or use gestures as you do when you're trying to survive in another country, communicating. So on this particular morning, I woke up and I fancied a pancake. So I thought, okay, and I checked the cupboards and I had all the ingredients except an egg, and I thought I could go down to the shop, or I could be brave and do what I would do in England and go and ask my neighbour. Now I knew the neighbours kind of. We'd passed in the corridors and on the way, or in the elevator up and down to the apartment, and so I thought, oh, I can do this. So I thought, oh, I better learn the word for egg first. I don't know the word for egg. So I got my handphone out, looked on Google Translate, egg, Koran, Koran, egg, Koran, Koran, egg, egg, Koran, egg, egg, Koran. Okay, got it. So I put my phone, and I don't know why at this point I left my phone on the table, but I went to my neighbour's and I knocked on her apartment door, and there was no movement, nothing. Maybe she was sleeping, maybe she wasn't in, I don't know. Luckily for her, she didn't answer the door. So I went to the next neighbour, who I didn't know as well. One of the ways I could try to communicate with my neighbours, I would take them food, banana bread or cookies, and they would bring me pachon or different Korean food as a way of kind of saying hi, nice to meet you, and so on. So I kind of knew the next neighbours, but not really well. But I thought, oh, they've seen me, they know me, let's go for it. So I knocked on the apartment door, and I could hear movement in the background. So I thought, yes, they're in, I'm going to get an egg. I was really excited. The lady opened the door. She was in her night gear. I'd just woken her up, and I felt a little bit embarrassed, and I could hear the family in the background, and she looked at me, and I greeted her, good morning, annyeonghaseyo, and then looked at her to say egg, and I'd forgotten the word egg. I can't believe it. I'd left my phone, and I was about to get my phone, and I thought, oh, I don't want to have to come back and forward. I'll just do what most people do when you're trying to communicate. You just say it louder and you say it clearly. Egg. And she just looked at me puzzled, and so I thought, I'll do it again. Egg, do you have an egg? And she just puzzled. So I thought, okay, I need to take this a step further. So I looked at her again and said, do you have an egg? An egg, an egg, an egg. And she just did not understand me. So I thought, okay, I'll add a little bit more to this. So I made an egg, and I made the sound of what I thought was the chicken, and she looked at me puzzled, and so I thought, okay, I need to take this up another level. So and again she looked at me puzzled, and I thought, I've done this all the time in England. I've done charades, I win charades, I'm acting, people guess straight away. Why don't you understand? And she just looked at me, and it was getting to the point where it was awkward. She was about to shut the door. I couldn't communicate, but I was going all in. The British pride had kicked in, and I thought, no, I really want you to understand. Please don't go. I'm going to go for it. So I started walking around like a chicken. And she still didn't understand. I don't understand. Okay, then I remembered that in Korea there are different noises. So for example, in England we would go meow, a dog would be ruff ruff, but in Korea there are different noises for different animals. So I thought, maybe it's a different noise. So I tried every noise I could think of for a chicken. So I was like, and she just looked at me sympathetically at this stage. And I thought, okay, I need to lay an egg. And so in front of her door, in a corridor in South Korea, on the top floor, I laid an egg. And I went in front of a door, egg. And she looked at me puzzled. So I thought, okay, maybe I didn't do it very well. So I did it again. Egg. And she went, and she shut the door and went in her apartment. Now at this point I was really happy. I thought, yes, I've communicated. And then I suddenly thought, oh, she's just shut the door on me. Do I knock again? What do I do? But I could hear her moving about. So I waited. And it felt like an eternity, but she opened the door and I thought, yes, got my egg, communicated. And she then proceeded to give me a toilet plunger. Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Oh my gosh, I was humiliated. I thought that was a really good chicken. I thought I communicated clearly. I just laid an egg and you've given, she thought my toilet was full. I was so embarrassed. And I thought at this point, I can't let this go. I just can't leave this here. And she's trying to give me a plunger. And I'm like, no, I don't want a plunger. So I thought, you know what? Let's just go for it. So I grabbed this lady. She's in her night gear. I'm in my night gear with shorts and t-shirt. Both of our hairs all over the place. It's early in the morning. I pull her out of her apartment and I could see her thinking, you crazy lady. And I went 2 apartments down, back to my apartment. I opened the door. I saw my phone on the table and I was kind of a little bit angry. Why didn't I take my phone with me? And as I looked at my phone, I remembered egg. Quran. And I looked at the lady and I said, Quran. And she looked at me, I said, Quran. And she was like, egg. And I thought, okay, I really want you to understand. So I opened the refrigerator, showed her my empty egg cases, and she went, and she scurried that to her apartment. I thought, yes, got an egg. And she brought me 4 eggs. Now I only needed 1, but I reckon she brought me 4 eggs because she never wanted me to knock on her door ever again. So I made pancakes that morning with a smile on my face, thinking, I can live in South Korea. I can survive here. I can learn the language. Even if it takes me a bit of time, I can still communicate with people. I can get what I need. Yes, brilliant. Until the next time I saw this lady. She was walking towards me with her family, and as she passed me, she went, and all the family laughed. I smiled and thought, oh yeah, that was a bit embarrassing. And the family were giggling and laughing. I was then smiling, thinking, okay, I got myself into a bit of a pickle on that one. And every time I saw that lady, she could be across the other side in the car park. As soon as she would see me. So that's one of my stories from Korea. I have quite a few of them. Maybe I'll share them intermittently throughout this cooking series. I just want to say thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. Thanks for watching the shows. If you want to see me cooking something, let me know. Leave a comment below. I hope you're enjoying the shows. I really thank you for joining with me, and I'll see you in another episode. Bye.